So this setup is rather nifty. It comes with the can, and it's got its little spreader and the little patch, which seems to be self-adhesive, which is nice, and then it's got its hardener. Getting off the top off was a little difficult though. Okay, now I'm a little worried because of the little holes that some of that hard stuff will go through. And I still, even though it does seem pretty well protected with the engine, I still get a little nervous. So, in addition to the patching, I'm going to cover the holes with a little bit of duct tape, which is oh so very hard to, there, okay. So, I thought I remembered a hole over here, so, but now I can't see it. So we'll do that. And I'm going to kind of rub in the hole so I'll remember where it is. Because I'm going to want to put the patch exactly where the hole is. Duct tape is so cool these days. They got it in so many colors. My mom picked out some Hello Kitty color and she was like, "You want to put this on the car?" I was tempted. But we'll be painting over the duct tape, so. I'm just going to cut off that part of that. Cut it. There. Hell, maybe if I have any left over, I'll make myself a duct tape apron. I was just thinking that I really need to get an apron if I'm going to be doing all this dirty work. Okay, and then the next part, oh bloody hell, where did oh there it is, okay. I'm going to cut this patch a little smaller than I did the duct tape, since I feel like I have a lot of repair holes. I am, of course, going to have to make it big enough to go over the hole. this is my largest hole, so. Oh, well, I didn't have to worry too much about it. Apparently there is some weird kind of stuff that, oh shoot, I didn't even do that big one. Shoot. How could I miss that big hole? God. I have my glasses on, don't I? Yeah. That was the big hole I wanted to make sure I covered. Ah! Uh-oh. Okay, some of these others are a little smaller, so I can... It lays down flatter than I expected it to. So that's what we're doing here. I'll do the other holes as well. I'm kind of getting low on juice, so I'll be stopping the camcorder at this point. Hey, y'all like my outfit? Maybe I'll make myself an apron with some of that leftover duct tape. Hopefully I won't get heat stroke, but I'm trying to protect myself. Okay, so there's this stuff here, and they claim about a golf ball size of that. I'm to use, God, this stuff stinks. And it dries fast too, so, or at least it will once I get the, okay. I got some of the putty on the side. I hope I can open it again. And for, I don't know if that's a golf ball size or not. And then you're supposed to mix it with about 1.25 inches of hardener. And then I have to work really quickly This wasn't the best maybe clay to use. They want you to use a non-porous surface. I'm gonna turn. Okay, I didn't do so good on this part. What happened is that, for one thing, the little patch was kind of turned up a bit. But I did learn my lesson, folks. This stuff really does dry fast. I had put out too much, and I wasn't able to get to these other patches. So I'm going to have to probably make this patch by patch. I made a bit of a mess there, admittedly. But hopefully we can make it look better later. But, of course, the whole point is to keep her protected. I mean, if I can make her look pretty, too, that's great. But my main concern is to keep her protected. And it hopefully will do that. Okay. I did the repairs. Admittedly, you know, you always say, God, this sounds easy. I could do that. But it doesn't wind up being as easy as to do it. I put some on the rust areas too, that weren't fully holes, excuse me. Okay, so admittedly I didn't do quite a good job on this, but the lessons we learned. Okay, one thing, can you guys hear me through this? Well, I'll keep my mask on if you don't mind, because actually this stuff does stink. Okay. The duct tape, some of the little metal patches started kind of moving or coming off. That might have been because I put them on the duct tape. That may have not been a good idea. Maybe I should have just used duct tape, period, or just used the metal patch, period. I was worried about it going through the engine, though I'm not sure if really that was a need to be concerned for. Another thing, the hardener, I may have used too much hardener too, trying to, you know, what does a golf ball look like, you know? But it seems like a very small amount of hardener will get you a long way. You need to have two separate items when you're taking out the putty. You need something that'll just take out the putty, and then you need something to mix the hardener with and probably apply it as well. Because think about it, if you have a thing that already has hardener in it and you take out putty, then there's a possibility you might get hardener inside the can, which you don't want to do. This stuff does dry incredibly fast, so it's good to do the repairs probably one by one, because you're not going to be able to do several. It's very hard to do several all at once. I didn't mix it until I actually came to the car to just give myself a little bit of more time. So, so that's what I learned from this. I don't know if this is even, it might stick, but I'm preparing for the fact that I might have to redo it at some point, possibly. But we'll see. And now, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go inside and take a shower, because I think I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed by all of this. So it's been quite a few hours now. I'm not sure, but it looks like it expands. I mean, that's not a bad thing. But the areas that I thought didn't seem to be very covered well, I didn't really need to put maybe extra on them, because they look like it expands and kind of covers the patch. They claim the next step, what you do is that you you sand it down. I believe it's with a lighter bit of sandpaper, 100 grit, I think, and then you gradually go to finer grits of sandpaper, and then you cover it with primer. My mom's kind of hoping we'll get some money next week, and then I can start the painting. I was a little traumatized by this when I started having problems with it. We had some rust there. You know, when I had used a lot less hardener than they had recommended, because I just found that really the hardener is very effective, and it'll just really it hardens almost immediately. And but so it was I was a little traumatized at first. But you know, it is my first time doing something like this, and I guess it's a shame that I didn't have something a little smaller, or maybe have something like a bitch car, a car that I could practice on that, you know, isn't our main transportation. But the fact is I don't have anything to practice on, so you know, I just do it and hope for the best. So my mom has to go to work, so this is it for now. But at least Selena and hopefully is now protected, and that's what's important. Normally you allow it to, you know, dry for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you sand it with 80 grit sandpaper and feather edge with 180 grit or finer. And then they recommend applying 2 to 3 coats of primer to cover repair area. And then you sand with fine 320 or 400 grit sandpaper. And, oh, that's where they, okay. And then supposedly you clean everything with your tools that you use with acetone or lacquer thinner. So, and an optional way of doing this is to apply a very thin layer of Bondo glazing and spot putty to fill pinholes or small imperfections if necessary. And then you sand that with 320 or 400 grit sandpaper and top coat with a primer and paint. And you're supposed to, the best results to apply this at 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius or above. And so that's that. Hi. Now here's for all the people who are like me and are a little bit pussies when they're dealing with chemicals that have all these warnings and they think they'll die and all that. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't take them seriously, but like I got a little bit of that stuff on my hands, you know. It wasn't, you know, it didn't burn me to the bone. It was not like, ah, my beautiful face, a Freddy Krueger type of thing, you know. A lot of times, you know, they're just being careful, you know, just, you know, wash it off. The worst thing about doing a lot of this automotive stuff, though, is that it's kind of stinky, you know, and the smell seems to stay with you. You know, I've had the gloves on, and, you know, they sometimes leave a residual smell and all that. But, so, don't worry about it.